Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Franklin Regional Stadium here in Murraysville, PA, where tonight the 4-0 Shaler Titans take on the 2-2 Franklin Regional Panthers. Hi, everybody. John Irwin is alongside Matt Perucker here for coverage of tonight's game. And Matt, as we head into Week 5, the middle of the WPIAL season, we have a game for ourselves here tonight.
Absolutely, two teams that are trying to find their way into the playoffs. The Titans off to a high-flying start, 4-0 on the year, have won every game by at least 13 points, and they're looking to do it again against a talented Franklin Regional squad.
Yeah, absolutely. The Titans coming in hot. I mean, this is the first time they've been 4-0 in God knows how long, probably before me and you were born a while ago, right? But Week 5, it needs to be business as usual for the Titans because the Panthers are no team that's going to step away too quick. Obviously, 2 losses to Thomas Jefferson and Gateway most recently last week, 44-24 against an 0-3 Gateway. But obviously, the news from Gateway, Brad Birch, their starting quarterback, had been out for the first 3 weeks, so maybe that was a bit of a different story. For the Panthers, they've got to come in here and change things up against the Titans, who have arguably the best receiving core in the entire WPIAL. Wouldn't you say so yourself, Matt?
And not only that, I think they probably have the best quarterback, at least statistically. Over 1,000 yards passing for Keegan Spitake on the year. He's been phenomenal. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. And Joey DeSabato leading the way, over 400 yards. He's been their main target, but also, it's not just him. Kay Norga, Brandon London have each stepped in. They're all in the top 25 in receiving for the WPIAL, which is just crazy. At the high school level, you can have 3 receivers doing that well, which is fantastic. And that's going to be the biggest problem for Franklin Regionals. Can they stop this offense, or else this game's going to get out of control real quick?
Absolutely. For Franklin Regional, it comes down to how smart and how much can you contain the Titans tonight. But that's, again, you can't focus on their game. You have to focus on your own. For them, they've got to be good tonight. Chase Lemke, the starting quarterback, he needs to be phenomenal. 46% completion on the year. That needs to be up. 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He has to play cleaner, right? The run game for the Panthers also has to be where they go tonight. Cal DePill is going to be their main man. 46 attempts on the year, 4 touchdowns, 488 yards. He's going to have to run over the Titans because the Titans right now are in a bit of an injury problem on the defensive side.
Yeah, Carson Pierce and Joe Rispoli, they're 2 starting middle linebackers, and that's big when trying to stop the run. They've been great when they've been on the field, but you saw how last game, the effect of them being out really was a big loss because the run sort of gashed in multiple plays. They're just zooming down the field. Tapu did a good job stepping in as a freshman, but we're going to look to see who we're going to call is going to be the next Titan to step up and try to control that Franklin Regional running game. And another thing they got to clean up is penalties. Like 10 penalties for 90 yards last week. That's not going to be good enough, especially going against this team, then going into conference play down the road. They can definitely do it. If Hempfield ends up being their worst game last week, and this is going to be a phenomenal season, John.
Yeah, absolutely. The last out-of-section game for the Titans as they head into home against Woodland Hills next week for their first game of conference play. So for them to go 5-0 and go into Woodland Hills with all the hype in the world, obviously the number 3 ranked team in the Tribune and the Post-Gazette in 5A, this is their week to take advantage of it all, isn't it?
Absolutely, and you got to put everything together. This is your last dress rehearsal before the real matches start coming in and the real games start coming in. And you talk about fatigue, you're always seeing it already, but how's the injury situation going to be? Are the Titans going to be able to hang in there? Franklin Regional, are they going to feel it too after that loss to Gateway last week? It's going to be an exciting game. I can't wait to watch.
Absolutely, and we can't wait for you guys to see who comes out victorious tonight at Panther Stadium, where tonight the Shaler Titans face the Panthers. Join us up in the booth for coverage of tonight's game.
We're the 2023 girls soccer team. You're watching SATV. Go Titans!
And welcome back up into the booth for coverage of tonight's game as the Titans take on the Panthers. What a Week 4 game we have in front of us here tonight. Matt, I'm excited as can be.
I'm incredibly excited. And you remember last year's game? Just wow, what a game that was. On homecoming, the 42-41 win in double overtime. It was absolutely fantastic.
And after the coin toss, we are about to get set underway, about 40 seconds away. This is a big week in all the WPIAL. You have exciting games all across each conference. In 6A, you've obviously got the fabled Central Catholic versus NA game right now. That's the number 1 versus number 2 and top 5 in the state in 6A. That's going to be an unbelievable game. In 5A, you've got USC versus Peters Township, North Hills versus Penn Hills. I mean, it is a big week for some teams in the WPIAL.
Yeah, it's a big week for the Titans, too, as we talked about in the pregame. This is their last chance to really see what they can stack up against fellow competition that's not in the conference. Last non-section game of the whole year. As that grueling schedule down the stretch, 5 straight conference games to end the season. But if the Titans can win today, a perfect first half going 5-0. That's what they're trying to do.
Yep, like you said, no more dress rehearsal anymore. Now is the time to see where do you stand in the Whippeal. And Riley Douglas will get us set underway, kicking to Aiden Huddick. And underway we are here at Franklin Regional. Huddick will take it at his goal line, looking for some space and trying to gain some speed. And gets wrapped up but evades some tacklers around the 15-yard line. He gets pushed back a bunch by Titans, still on his feet. But got all the way to around the 17-yard line. Stopped initially, I believe, by number 40, Ryan Peterson. So good stop there to hold the Panthers inside their own 20, and this is the big start that we talked about in pregame for the Titans. How does the defense show up tonight, losing JoJo Rispoli and already having lost Carson Pierce, at least for the foreseeable next 2 weeks?
Yeah, and you're going to want to focus on the running game because that's where they were just absolutely dominant these first 3 weeks of the season before Carson went out and then the last week over Hempfield. See what Tapu and his crew can do.
Absolutely. Who steps up tonight on defense for the Titans? And for the Panthers, Lemke in the backfield alongside his running back, Cal DePill. Lemke looking left, has his man for a 5-yard gain. I believe Austin Kearns on the reception. And those are going to be some of the names you'll hear tonight from the Franklin Regional Panthers offensive side. Obviously, Lemke, the starting quarterback. Just behind him, Jake Veristek. Maybe he'll get some snaps tonight. We're not too sure. Right now, the number for Lemke, they don't look great on paper. 46 completion percentage, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. It'll have to improve tonight.
Absolutely, and you're going to want to lean on that run game, but not too much. They're going to have to pass if they're going to want to beat Shaler today.
And the 2-man set to the right. In the shotgun, hands it off to DePill up the middle, gets a good gain, cuts back inside, still on his feet, and just wrapped up right before the 40-yard line. And the junior, 5'6", 200, running over people to start his game.
And that's where you really missed Rispoli and Pierce. A couple of times they were the cut back and forth. They were just so secure tacklers. Every time they got their hands on a runner, he was going down. That time they had to break a couple tackles and for a great gain up into their own 40.
And the Panthers taking their time, every single player looking at the offensive play call right now, something we haven't really seen so far in the Whippeal.
A lot of times people are confident and just give the quarterback the play and let it run. Interesting change of pace for sure.
And now a fake pitch from Lemke to DePill. He'll keep it on his feet and a bunch of yards after the initial tackle. Just wrapped up a yard short, and right now the Panthers making quick work of this Titans defense.
Yeah, that's another time where the runner's going 5 yards after contact. As soon as you get your hands on him, you got to bring him down. Got to be all Titans on the ball.
And Lemke, the 5'10", 154 junior, really needing to step up tonight, doing well so far. He has Huddick to the top of his side. Inside on the bottom will be Cole Brinker.
It's very interesting. His size isn't that intimidating, but you've seen with his elusiveness and speed, he can be a danger if he gets out in the open field.
And in the shotgun, DePill to his right, moves Kearns in motion. Low snap, looking right immediately, tossing high for Huddick. And Huddick with the catch, still on his feet, and into the end zone. And the Franklin Regional Panthers, inside of 2.5 minutes, put 6 on the board. What a start for the Panthers.
That was a great throw. Signetti on the coverage, couldn't get his head around, and when we finally did, you just saw the ball go right over top of him. And a great start for Franklin Regional as they take the early lead.
And that's exactly the start that they needed. Again, we just questioned, would he get it there tonight? Would he find his man, Aiden Huddick, the main man, even of last year's game in that 42-41 double overtime defeat at Shaler? And now Joey Bain for the extra point, up and in to put 7 on the board for the Panthers with 9:34 remaining. And you couldn't ask for a better start.
I have a feeling that this game has a good chance of turning into a shootout because you saw that last year. That not often do you see 80 combined points in a high school game, and we might be on our way towards that tonight.
And it all depends on how the Titans come into this game tonight. That defense, again, we said, will it be shaky? Will they step up? Unfortunately, it was Troy Cignetti on the coverage for the Titans, not one of their men, Caden Orga or Joey DiSabato. They went at Cignetti, obviously the younger of that defensive core. That's a tough ask for him tonight if he continues to be in coverage. Now for the Titan. Can Keegan Schmatenka and his offensive side step up and really make, like we said last week, of no penalties, clean up the incompletions? Will that happen tonight?
You'd like to think so, especially after last game. I'm sure that's all what Coach Ryan harped on them about. Is like, look, guys, got to stop holding. Got to start tackling guys out of bounds. Got to stop hitting the quarterback after he goes down for a 10-yard loss. Those are the kind of penalties that kill drives. Those are the type of penalties that help the opponent out. That was a 25-yard swing. You remember that when the quarterback went down? Like, as soon as he's on the ground, that's it. The NFL, you got to do that. But as soon as you hit him on the ground, that's a penalty. So, but I think they're going to clean that up, and they've got to. They're facing a very talented Franklin Regional offense and a very talented team overall.
And now 3 men back there for the Shaler Titans. Bain gets a big boot. Goodness me, all the way into the end zone. It'll give the Titans field position at the 20. And who comes out for the Titans and makes a statement right away for them?
You got to take a look, and it's the first drive of the game. You're trying to see, okay, what's our game plan looking like? Usually they try to script a couple plays here to start. You got to see what works. Running the ball, you're looking to Nate Razzo. He's back. He got beat up a little bit last week, but glad to see he's in the game. And he's going to be a big help to Spatanka as they look to balance between the run and the pass.
Yep, Razzo averaging 5.5 yards per carry. Great on his season so far. Only 2 touchdowns, but nonetheless still gaining yards that he wants. And they'll give it to Razzo up the left with some speed. Gets past Huddock, and now Razzo, he'll slip on what could have been a huge first play for the Titans. Nonetheless, a first down.
Yeah, they had a really hard time establishing the running game last week, and regardless, he still got over 100 yards rushing. He's gotten 100 yards in every game this year, Mr. Consistency, and that's what we're going to need from him right now. They don't need to rely on him as a bell cow, but he can definitely add some stuff to the team.
And they'll give it off to him again, trying to find a hole and get stuffed immediately by some Panthers. Kearns in on the tackle, followed up by Owen Sinclair. So a big stop there will make it 2nd and 11, lost a yard. And now do the Titans say to themselves, all right, we've got 2 runs. Let's try and get this thing in the air. Franklin Regional obviously struggled last week in the air defensively against Gateway. Brad burst through for 3 touchdowns. Schmatenka rolling, looking for his man London, and he's got him in stride at the 40 and out of bounds inside of the Panthers 40.
That was coming right to us. That was an absolute dime to London, and you've got to wonder, when's going to be the Brandon London game? He had a great time last year against these Panthers, and that's a great start from him. A huge gain there. It's going to be inside the 40.
6'3", 255, Brandon London. It's like a freight train running towards the sideline, but he's got hands like no other for a tight end. And they'll give it to Razzo. He gets boomed immediately, took a shot. And Razzo getting beat up when he's getting taking hits right now.
Yeah, he's taken a lot of hits so far this season, and that's the last thing you want to see. In that running back room, he's your best guy. You don't want to see him keep taking shots like that.
And defensively right now, only Huddock as the single man in the safety position right now for the Panthers. Schmatenka, with time, has to scramble right, and he'll just toss it and throw it away. And that's a question tonight. Will Schmatenka have enough time? We saw holding calls last week against the offensive line of the Titans. And I think Schmatenka last week, a lot more scrambles than he was used to so far this season.
It just came under pressure almost immediately. And whenever that happens, you don't have time to get set, go through your progressions. You just have to find your first read or get out of there, which he did a lot.
It was pressure immediately, but no instant penetration through the line. So he had some time, but when you feel the pressure, it's going to make you think a little. And now looking left, in stride, has a man deep. Did he beat him? He did, and none other than Joey DiSabato. Who else for the Shaler Titans to put points on the board? They go down and score in 2 minutes themselves, and we have a game for ourselves tonight here at Panther Stadium.
Those are 2 great throws by Spatanka, just able to lead his receiver wide open and in stride too. I mean, that was right in the breadbasket, a perfect throw and a wonderful response for the Titans after giving up the early touchdown.
And now Riley Douglas last week missed an extra point. Obviously, Mark Povich had to step in and take over field goals and extra points. But he is out, and Riley Douglas puts up the extra point in the absence of Povich. And we are all square at sevens with 7:54 remaining. And man, I am excited for the rest of this game right now.
Well, if you like offense, it looks like you're going to like this game. 2 touchdowns in just over 4 minutes, and this is going to be a fun one, John. We really take a look at these offenses, and Spatanka, multiple completions over 30 yards in the air. You just don't see that too often, but whenever you can beat the safeties like that, might as well keep throwing deep shots.
I mean, there's nothing else you can say for the Shaler Titans other than that's just business for them, right? That's the easy, let's start the drive with Nate Razzo, let's get him some yards, get us in good field position, find Brandon London in the middle of the field, and let Joey DiSabato find the end zone. I mean, that right there is the bread and butter for the Shaler Titans.
Yeah, but if you're Franklin Regional, you can't keep giving up those long passes like that. This is an offense that can come back in any game, but if you're just giving them free rein to just throw it all the way down the field.
And that's what we said with Gateway. That's all the stuff that Brad Birch did last week.
Now let's see if they can adjust. Let's see if the Titans can adjust on defense as the kick's away.
And Huddock will get some speed into this one, inside his own 5. He's going to give a little bit of a low step, run a man over, still dragged down, tackled by Alex Weber. And he'll get past the 20 to the 24-yard line. And for the Panthers, you've got to say, you've got to keep the same thing running, right?
Yeah, but it was the aerial attack that got most of the yards on that drive. They got a couple of good runs, able to have the Titans defense creep up them a little bit, and that's allowed the separation to occur in that touchdown pass over top of Signetti. And they're going to hope to see if that formula works for them or they keep going on the ground. It's going to be interesting to see what they do on this drive.
And now in there, Jude Gentile in. The 5'5", 143 junior in the backfield. It'll be a 3-man set. It'll be a pitch to Gentile with some speed, and now getting past his men, he gets a big carry. And the run game is what we said the Titans needed to be careful of, and the Panthers are exposing it in an instant.
Yeah, a couple good blocks downfield, really sprung that loose, and that's another big play for Franklin Regional. A lot of big plays by both teams. They're going to hope to keep that up. And as we mentioned, the Titan defense without their starting middle linebackers. And so far, it's all been good in the running department for Franklin Regional so far.
And again, Gentile, it's almost like a different on the scale, right? 5'5", 143, the switch from Kyle DePill, 5'6", 200.
Definitely more of their speed option.
Man in motion. They hand it off to Gentile again. And he'll gain around 2, not 4. Getting stopped by a bunch of Titans, though.
That's what we want to do. If they're going to run the ball, you got to keep them under 2 yards a carry. If they can do that, they're not going to be able to get the first down.
And for Jim Ryan and his defense right now, they've got to really pick apart this offense of the Panthers. Who are they going to try and aim to really contain? Obviously now again, Huddock at top in the single coverage. Joey DiSabato still kind of making his way. I wouldn't be surprised if DiSabato is more on that side of the field where Huddock is now in coverage. And then a man in motion again. Lemke takes the snap, hands it off to DePill. And he'll gain another 2. And right now, they're just working things out. Again, you see this a lot in the Whip Wheels sometimes. You'll see a team go down immediately and go and score. You'll see them, score in a minute, and then their next drive, then they start to work things out. Right now, it's more comfortability than getting downfield and score.
Yeah, all runs on this drive so far. Interesting to see when they incorporate their passing attack into their game.
3rd and 6.
3rd down and 6. Likely the time to go to the air here. The last couple runs going for less than 5 yards.
It'll be a twin set to the right. Moving a man in motion. They'll hand it off to DePill. Bouncing right. Gets past London. But still stopped before the first down marker. It'll be a 4th and 2 for the Panthers.
Yeah, probably that situation since they didn't pass. Everybody think, okay, we probably have 2 downs to pick this up. 4th down and 2. Big play for this Titan defense.
Connor Lund in on the stop, just stopping to Pill in a 4th and 2, and the Panthers are going to go for it only just a little bit past their own 50. And with the running right now, it might be the safe option, but with what we just saw with Lemke's throw to Huddick, anything's possible for the Panthers. It'll be a run to DePill. He'll bounce, get the first, still on his feet, and dragged down by Orga, and a great play call and move the chains for the Panthers. But we do have a flag in the middle of the field around the 50.
Yeah, it's right in the location of where holding's usually called.
And I believe it'll be on the Titans. And the Panthers are just going to decline it. They'll take the first down. They're actually going to get more than that now because of the penalty. It'll be a face mask call. So again, we talked about penalties in moments of times like that where when you're going to give up a penalty, it has to be in moments of whether a team's inside their own 50 or when they're not in a scoring opportunity. And right there, that one hurts to get the extra 5 yards. And now Lemke on the scramble, looking across, has his man chased down by Razzo, still on his feet. We'll have another flag. But nonetheless, a great catch and run by Kearns. Flag on the play, and I think it might be against the Titans again.
That was good misdirection there, able to force the Titan defense to the right, and then they swing back with a quick pass over to the left. That's a nice easy pitch and catch, and a nice play there.
The ref's trying to figure out here what the call is with the penalty, just to reassure. It'll be another face mask. 2 face masks on 2 plays in a row against the Titans. And we just said clean up the penalties, and immediately 2 in a row against the Titans. Not what you want, and now again, it puts them inside the 5 in great scoring position with a run game that's been on fire so far for the Panthers.
Definitely have to look for a goal line stand here if you're Shaler. But yeah, 4 opportunities inside the 5 is no bueno.
Gentle in the backfield would be a fake pitch. Lemke will spin, evade one tackler, find the space, and find the end zone for a Panther touchdown. Lemke with the great run pass option takes it in himself and puts another 6 on the board. And a great drive also with the help in favor of Titan penalties.
Yeah, and those just make it so much easier to drive down the field, getting free yardage after the play. And in that play, you saw how the speed was able to, the quarterback was able to use him well there, get outside. London not able to contain him there and run in for an easy 6 points.
Now Joey Bain again looking to go 2 for 2 on the night. Make it 14 in favor of the Panthers. He'll put it up. He'll put it through. And the Panthers go up 14-7 over the Titans. And right now for the Panthers, it's clockwork, and for the Titans, you've got to respond.
Yeah, so far in this game, 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. The Titans hoping to keep that up on their end as they get the ball.
And like we said, that run defense from the Titans was so significantly playing so well. It's the best run defense we've seen from the Titans in the past couple of years, but losing your middle linebackers is going to do so much damage. It's already starting to show here. Unfortunately, again, a couple of penalties against you, face mask calls, but still can't happen nonetheless.
Yeah, someone on that defense is going to have to step up. So far, that has not been the case.
And for the Titans, they just have to respond accordingly. Still 4:38 remaining in the first, 3 scores already, and we haven't even hit the 4-minute mark. Each team averaging around 3 to 4 minutes to get down into the end zone. I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Ryan takes his time here, unless obviously you have a drive like you did the first time.
You're just worried about scoring a touchdown here. Clock's not really a factor yet.
And does Bain give a big boot again? He'll keep it in play for DiSabato. Takes it high at zone 5. Looks for patience, and he'll get flipped over around the 20. DiSabato not really getting the returns he's been looking for as of recently. Used to usually getting a little bit more space, but hasn't just been as lucky.
Yeah, after the safety kick return against Hampton, they teams have noticed that. It's like it's a very dangerous return man. Usually they don't end up returnable kicks like that, but Franklin Regional had good coverage on that play.
Yep, and for the Titans now as their offense takes the field again, it's going to have to be a clean drive, no penalties. It'll be a single man set to the top. Man in motion. They fake the handoff, they give it to Razzo, but he'll only get a yard. And the Panthers' run defense right now is looking as clean as can be.
You're wondering if he was going to bounce to the outside on that play, but the blocks really didn't set up, and he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yep, Andrew DeVola in on the tackle, the 6'2", 260 junior. Schmatenka on the roll, looking for something. Throws it across, has DiSabato. Did he keep his feet in? And they're going to say he pulled it in.
Well, we do have a flag in the backfield around the 16. Might be...
you would hope it's not a hold if you're a Titan.
Going to be hard to speculate. But
head referee looks like he's pointing towards the Panthers. It'll be a roughing the passer call.
I was going to say that. I wasn't quite sure. Take a look at the time frame. Could have been a hold, but
it makes sense.
He did get hit after he threw that ball to DiSabato, and he got behind the defender. If he was able to see that initially, he would have been gone for a long touchdown.
Still found him nonetheless, and what would have been a catch around the 45-yard line with the penalty brings the line of scrimmage all the way to the 36.
Still a huge play for the Titans. Great job there by Schmatenka.
A 40-yard gain there. Schmatenka on the hard count, gives it to Razzo, puts his head down and gains 1. Razzo not really able to find the gaps right now of this Panthers D-line.
Yeah, right now in the battle for his offensive defensive lines, Franklin Regional has been winning on both ends. The defensive line, they're doing a good job to limiting Razzo. I don't know what his yards per carry is, but it's got to be pretty small compared to what their running back's been doing.
And absolutely, you look up and down the list again. Joey Avegas, 6'3", 305. Ronnie Shaw, 6'3", 199. And again, they get to Razzo. Those size and numbers of the Panthers are overpowering the O-line of Shaler.
Yeah, you want to stay committed to the run game, but these last couple of plays have not looked good. That's going to be a loss of a yard and it's up a 3rd down and 10.
Now for the Titans, they need to make a play happen here. Orga and DiSabato up to the top. London in on the inside. No one in man, zone coverage. Schmatenka rolls, has blockers. It'll be a flag on the play. Schmatenka has to scramble, stays on his feet, and gets the 1st down. Schmatenka on his feet, gets it. It'll be a flag and a hold on Shaler, though.
It was a great job by Schmatenka, but yeah, this one's all but certainly coming back.
And another flag from the Titans. What has happened to the Titans?
Just got a little, and I think the block of the right tackle, I think they're getting on the right tackle. Guy got beaten, he just held him, make sure he didn't get Schmatenka. And it's one you got to take there.
And you have to be smarter there, especially if you're on the right side of that offensive line, especially when Schmatenka is running left. You don't really have a reason to hold just yet. So it would have been a 1st down as a loss of 10, the 3rd and 20 now for the Titans. 2:43 remaining in the quarter. DiSabato on the near side, Orga to the top. 2 safeties in coverage, no one in man for the Panthers. Razzo in motion. Immediately breaks through. London still on his feet, and he'll get maybe back to the original spot. It'll be a 4th and 20, and the Panthers get a big stop, looking to go up 2 scores now when their offense takes the field.
Those are just drive-killing penalties there, ones you cannot take.
Can't happen.
But interesting call there on 3rd down. If you're going to try a screen pass, DiSabato is probably the more logical option. But anyway, those can break big. That time it didn't.
Good snap. Douglas the good boot. It'll take a Shaler roll to around the 13, 14-yard line. So a good spot there from Riley Douglas will pin the Panthers inside their own 15.
Yeah, but now it's time for the defense to get a stop. Franklin Regional got a stop. You got to match them. You're down by a touchdown. If you let them score here, it becomes a 2-score game, and we saw this story play out last year, although the Titans were able to come back in that game.
But again, big factors last year. Carson Pierce obviously playing that game. JoJo Rispoli playing that game. And again, those can't be the big storylines for Shaler tonight. Your injuries cannot take over your game. It has to be the 11 that are on the field. Now Lemke in the backfield with the pill. 2-man set to his right. Huddick on the inside slot. It'll be a handoff to the pill. And he gets wrapped up. But he'll still gain around 3 or 4 yards. And DePill right now, all 200 pounds of his body is moving faster than the Titans can catch him.
Yeah, even though we got a nice gain on that play, you saw the penetration that time. The Titans were able to get through their blockers. And eventually one time they're going to find the right gap and they're going to be able to take him down for a loss.
And that's really what's saving the Titans right now, is filling these gaps. But will the Panthers decide, hey, maybe if they're going to close our gaps, we can decide to bounce out to the outside, especially with the field position they have right now. It'll be a handoff to DePill up the left side. Stays on his feet, inbound, still going downfield and pushed over by Brandon London. How he kept his feet in, I don't know, but he did it. And a huge gain for the Panthers. And we just said, when do they decide to bounce out to the outside? And they do it perfectly there.
Yeah, but a couple of good blocks, possibly a hold here on the left side, but regardless, good enough blocks, able to spring him loose, get a great job of tiptoeing on the sideline, but you've got to get a hand on him and just shove him out of bounds when he's that close.
And now more breathing room for the Panthers inside of 50 seconds and counting in the first quarter, up 14-7. We said this would be a tough game for the Titans. Not a cakewalk at all. Again, the 2-2 Panthers with good wins. Lemke looking deep, heaves one up for Huddick. Caught it, still on his feet, still not dragged down. Still going. Goodness me. He cannot be stopped in coverage right now.
And you saw there, Tortorella mistimed his jump when trying to get there. Couldn't get his head turned around and got to try to go for the incompletion. I think he wanted the ball, he wanted the pick, but he really mistimed that jump. And then once he caught the ball, he couldn't drag him down and gain an extra 10 yards after contact.
And right now, if you're the Titans, you've got to change something, because what you've seen from the Panthers is runs from DePill and then big throws to Huddick.
Quarterback play has been excellent. Running back play has been awesome. So everything's been working so far for Franklin Regional.
Let's see. Head ref is going to call a quick stoppage of play. Not sure what the issue is here. I think he's trying to fix the time on the clock. Still waiting here. So went up to 27 seconds now remaining on the clock. So about one play left in this quarter, most likely here for the Panthers inside of the Shaler 15. A man in motion. Lemke will hand it off to DePill, has a bounce out to the right, still on his feet, but dragged down just inside the 10. They might be able to get one more playoff here. 15 seconds and counting. And I think they'll just say, hey, won this quarter, we're happy with how we've played. And as the clock counts down now, under 5 seconds remaining, we will head into second quarter play as the Panthers lead the Titans 14-7. Join us for second quarter coverage of tonight's game.
Let's go Titans! You're watching SATV! You're watching
And welcome back for second quarter coverage of tonight's game as the Panthers lead the Titans 14-7. Lemke in shotgun, DePill to his left, will fake it himself on the RPO, bounces around a couple of tacklers, but eventually gets tackled just short of the 5-yard line. Don Battaglia in on the tackle. And a 3rd and 6 situation now. They can still get, or sorry, not a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 3. They can still get a first down here, which is huge for the Panthers.
It's got to be bend, don't break right now. You're bending a little bit. Big third down. Might be 2 down territory. We'll have to see here for the Franklin Regional, see what they want to do here. They got 2 plays realistically to pick up the first down.
Huddock in motion. DeSabato in on coverage. It'll be a pitch out to DePill on his feet, still dragging, but stopped just short, but he'll get the first down. So a reset and 4 more chances now for the Panthers to score, and you got to think they're going to get it.
You got to find a way to get into the backfield, finally get a tackle for loss. Every snap they've had has gone for positive yardage. You've got to get a stop, at least hold them for no gain.
And right now, the Titan defense, like you said, again, you have to stop them. Man in motion, but Lemke with the push and in for 6. And the Franklin Regional Panthers put up another score on the board on the Titans. And the Titans right now are in a land of somewhere they haven't been. The first team to put up 20 on the Titans the entire season. The Titans defense averaging 14 points allowed per game, and the Panthers, in technically a quarter and a minute and 15 seconds, go over that mark.
Yeah, you've seen the running game has been incredibly effective with the linebackers out. Lemke there gets a nice push from his running back and made it look easy on the QB sneak.
And again, Bain perfect on the night, doing what he does, putting the Panthers up 21-7. And the Titans need a response. It has to happen now. You get the ball start of the second half, but you can't hope for that 10 minutes and 45 seconds to just go away without anything happening.
And you just got to hang around, you know. You can't let them get up to 21. You've got to, exactly as you said, you got to get a response. This team has been in this situation before. Now they've got to find a way to get that response, and Spatanka is the guy to do it. I think you have any choice of any quarterback in the Whippeal, I'd pick him.
I agree with you there. He's been the #1 guy in the Whippeal in completion percentage and in yardage. The first quarterback to go over 1,000 yards last week at around a 74% completion rate. He's been the man. Will he lead his offense back up into what they've been doing, which is putting points on the board early? Again, we've said they've had first quarter struggles in these last 2 games, especially against Plum and Hempfield. Will the second quarter become a different story for them?
Gotta wonder, this game is looking a lot like last year's game. I know I've said it a lot, but it's just been eerily similar.
I agree. We thought it would be more of a shootout, but the Panthers really making work of the Titans. DeSabato will let it go, and the Titans take over at the 20. And Shaler, at this point, if you don't put points on the board, you have to instill confidence back into yourself, and it's like that quote, right? You don't just rise to the occasion. You fall back down to your training.
And that's what you got to do. And the running game has been a big problem for them so far. Last few rushes, they have not gained yardage, or if that, they've only gotten a yard or 2. So that's going to be a problem because you're having Spatanka pass from 3rd down and 10. Last time, 3rd down and 20. So they've got to get this running game going if they want to come back in this game.
Needs to be a big change of pace. Very lackluster and lethargic right now from the Titans, especially after that amazing first drive they have. And Shmatenka on the pitch gives it off to Razzo, who gets the first down and more. Across the line of scrimmage was Keegan Shmatenka, but still that pitch was backwards, completely legal.
This is the first time we've seen them run the speed option out to the right, and Spatanka did a great job of waiting for the defender to commit to him, and then the pitch over to Razzo. And when your traditional running game is not working, time to go in the playbook, find something different. They found something there, 10 yards and a first down.
Great draw to get yourselves out of a hole back at your own 20 and move the chains. Hard count, give it to Razzo, bounces outside, now has speed, 1 man to beat, and thrown forward still after getting a first down, and that's huge for the Titans.
Back-to-back plays of rushes over 10 yards, 2 consecutive first downs, and you'd like to keep this momentum going.
You have to, and again, like we said, if the Panthers are going to give you the run game, you have to take it at some point, right? Again, 2 safeties and 2 corners in zone coverage, not man-to-man. They'll put 1 man-to-man down now at the bottom on Cade Norga. It'll be a handoff to Razzo again. Takes a shot, still on his feet. That spot originally looked like he was going to give him 3, but now I think only gives him about 2.
Hey, you take a look at the difference between those last 3 plays. First play, a run outside the right. Next play, run outside the left. This time, a run up the middle, and he stopped immediately. The nose tackle, defensive tackle for Franklin Regional have been solid all game. You have to wonder if Shaler's going to try to continue running outside when they try to run the ball.
Shmetenka looking right, feels the pressure, has to scramble, and Shmetenka takes a sack. Big play there for the Panthers. That was huge for the Franklin Regional Panthers. Shmetenka, one of the least sacked quarterbacks so far this year. We only saw 1 sack last week against the Hempfield Spartans, and the Panthers get to them again, especially when they were in a great position to go downfield and make some things happen, end up in a 3rd and 20.
A loss of 10 on that play. And when he's come under pressure, he's going to come under pressure immediately in this game.
Shmetenka shotgun set, has time now, has to run and scramble, off 1 foot, and out of bounds, was looking for Joey DiSabato, and the punt team comes out for Shaler. The O-line not holding for Keegan Shmetenka.
A couple of times now where Shmetenka's throwing that ball from the 25 and he's looking to get to the other 45. And when you're running to your sideline like that, you can't make that throw all the way down. Make a throw 35 yards down the field.
Now Douglas has to get a good boot off. It'll be a roller if it stays in bounds, and not a good boot from Riley Douglas. Barely got past the Panthers 50. And what is happening to the Titans, you have to ask?
That was not a good punt from Douglas, and they're just going to barely get over at the 49. Only a couple of yards past the original line around the scrimmage. So now's the time we've got to stand tall. Going down 3 scores is going to put you at a huge deficit. And at some point in this game, they're going to have to stop them regardless, but now seems like the best time.
We saw the swing and pace of play, remember, last week when the Titans were down 10-6 against Hempfield. It was a 17-point swing. They went into halftime 23-10, had a phenomenal 4th quarter, but the 3rd quarter, again, they struggled, and you can't struggle again in these 2nd and 3rd quarters and rely on that 4th quarter to come down and be that winning quarter for your team. As Lemke looks across, has a lot of men deep. Huddick wide open at the 20, but he dropped it. Titans get a huge break. Huddick beat his man. It was Tortorella on the coverage, had him beat by 5 yards.
A little slow getting up. That's the 2nd time he's been beat deep. And we might look back on this play and say, what was the turning point? And if they completed that pass, he might have been gone for a touchdown. Regardless, that'll put him in great field position to try to score again.
With 8:40 remaining, absolutely. They would have had all the time in the world to go down and score. I think we're going to have a ball change here.
Yeah, but this defense so far hasn't been able to stop much of anything.
There were 4 men downfield, all who I thought had beaten their men, but obviously Lemke's going to go for the guy he's been looking at the whole night, Aiden Huddick.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's his first incompletion of the game.
I believe so. Again, Huddick coming into the game, 8 receptions, 138 yards, averaging 17 a catch with 2 touchdowns. He was a monster last year. Nothing's changed so far. They hand it off to Gentle, and he'll lose a good... Oh, he actually stayed on his feet and bounced around. What a take by Gentle to get up. I thought he lost a good couple of yards there, but stayed on his feet, evaded Ben Yeckel, and puts the Panthers now in a 3rd and 5, I believe. It'll be a 3rd and 4.
Titans got to do a better job of wrapping up. You see on that play, a couple of guys got their hands on him, but they didn't take him to the ground. They kind of just held him for a little bit.
Have to complete your tackles if you're the Titans. The Pill's just been running all over you, and right now, Gentle's shown he can bounce around you. And the 4-man set trips out to the left for the Panthers. Shotgun set for Lemke. Looking left, has a man. It'll be Huddick still on his feet and gets across the 35 to the 34-yard line, and an easy 1st down for the Panthers. And at what point do you say to yourselves, if you're the Titans, we've got to change something, because right now this Lemke to Huddick connection is killing us.
I think they tried something different. It looked like they were in a zone on that play, and Loic did a great job of finding the open gap, turned around saying, hey, I'm open, and the perfect throw on the money, and another Franklin Regional first down.
Again, Lemke to Huddick, the junior quarterback to the senior receiver, 6'1", 188 pounds. You could say a perfect build for the Whippeal. Man in motion. They hand it off to Gentle, has a lot of space on the right, gets flipped over, ball popped out. He'll fall on it, but I believe he landed on his helmet, which was a scary one to see, but looks all right. He'll actually come off a little. He looks like he has a little bit of a limp.
Yeah, great tackle there by Jockle, able to sort of get under him and flip him up into the air, and yeah, that's not what you want to see. He's been fantastic for them so far. It would be a big shame if he were to leave the game for its entirety. And
for the Titans, you don't get a breath of fresh air now that he's out, because DePill's back in. If they decide to switch at any point, you can't say to yourself, all right, you know, their best running back's out, because right now they're torching the Titans for all that they have. And DePill's going to be way behind Lemke, looking for a running start, which he gets, bounces outside, gets past another, will be short of the first. It'll be a 3rd and 1.
That's a great block there by Hunter Reinhardt, able to push the Titan defender out of the way and create that gap. And now 3rd down and 2.
Be 2 now.
Be a big situation when the Titans got to come up big here.
Again, the Panthers averaging 24 points a game. It's already at 21. It'll be an under center snap, man in motion. Lemke on the push. They've got the first down for sure. And right now, nothing can stop the Panthers.
The second time they went to that look, last time too they did that quarterback sneak, although that time it was at the goal line.
I think right now, I don't even think the wall could stop the Panthers with their run offense.
Yeah, and the Titans, their defensive wall has not looked good so far, but there's always time to turn it around. Now is as good as time as any.
You have to change it up. You have to go into these next 5 minutes playing your perfect defensive stand. Inside the 25, Lemke takes the snap, looking right, looking for Huddick. It'll be up. And almost intercepted on the tip. Troy Signetti was in coverage. Did not let Huddick get past him. An improvement there from Signetti. But again, you got to remember Huddick, 6'1", got away with one, I think, there.
Yeah, I think so. He threw one up there, and I initially thought he underthrew him, which he did.
Yes.
And initially I thought it was going to be intercepted. But Signetti did a good job of playing conservative. Didn't let him get by him, as you said. And then just able to just smack it down in the air like a volleyball player.
Again, Troy Signetti, not the smallest cornerback in the world, 5'11", 165, but the sophomore, you see the experience from Huddick starting to show.
Yeah, they're still matched up 1-on-1 down the near side.
They hand it off to DePill, bounces around, and he'll get stopped after, I believe, a gain of 4. It'll be a 3rd and 6. This has to be a stop for the Titans, but if you're the Panthers, you're still okay with how you're playing right now, and you're not really worried about if you get to a 4th down situation.
Yeah, depending on how well this goes, unless you take a sack, it's probably 4 down territory again, trying to pour it on.
And with how Bain's been kicking, you're nowhere, you know, you can definitely kick a field goal from this range if you're Joey Bain. And again, here's the 3-man set up top to the left. This is where we saw the first down earlier from Huddick. It'll be a handoff to DePill. Bounces, stays up. He'll be stopped 2 yards short, and that's a perfect 3rd down if you had to go into a 4th. It'll be a 4th and 2 again.
It's decision time over there on that Franklin Regional sideline. But if you're Shaler, try to come up with a stop here would be huge, and they're going to think about it as they're going to call a timeout.
And this is huge for the Titans, 4:14 remaining. And let's go over some of the key points we've seen so far right now, Matt. We thought originally with how the game went, the Panthers' first drive was immaculate. We saw DePill take a lot of the run option and really make his own out of this game. And the Panthers, again, making work of the Titans. I mean, how did the Titans respond?
Gotta get a stop here. You can get yourself a little bit of confidence if you get your stop here. 4th down and 2. Last time there was a similar situation on 3rd down and 2. Did the quarterback sneak. Look for that motion again from a wide receiver if they're going to try to do that. However, he's back in the shotgun, so maybe not.
Again, big 4th and 2. Huddock down at the bottom of the screen. Signetti in coverage. They move Huddock in motion. Might look for a push here for Lemke. Did the Titans jump across? And they did. Another huge penalty against the Titans will move the chains for the Panthers. And all discipline out of the window now. I mean, you can't make excuses for it anymore. You just had 10 penalties last game, and now inside of the first half here, you already have 4 or 5.
No, you're excited. You can feel such a big play that was going to end up being, but it never ended up happening. You cannot jump off sides in a 4th down and 2.
Got 5 penalties for 45 yards now on the Titans, both sides of the ball. DePill gets the call, still on his feet and in for a touchdown. And Kyle DePill looking like a prime NFL player with a flag on the field, though.
This is likely coming back.
And it is a holding. So Kyle DePill almost had one of the cleaner runs I've seen so far this game, especially in scoring position. But that thing's going to come back on a hold.
And you saw how he got that much space. That was a pretty obvious hold.
So a lucky break for the Titans. It'll become a 1st down just inside the 20 at the 18-yard line.
This could end up being a huge break for Shaler if they're able to get a stop here.
And again, the Panthers just taking their time. They're in no hurry-up line. They don't just scramble to the line of scrimmage to get their play off. Every single player paying attention to the play call.
I mean, why would you? You have a 2-score lead.
But I mean, they've been doing it since their first drive. This team is disciplined right now. The 3-man set up top. This is the infamous one that the Panthers have executed so well. Lemke looking off, screen to DePill with speed, bouncing out, and in again for another touchdown. DePill says, I'm all right with the holding call. I'll just do a longer score.
Yeah, there was another holding call they missed on the left side. A wide receiver completely took Tortorella down, and I don't know.
It looked like Huddock had a hold there.
Huddock, it was right in the middle of the field. I don't know how you missed that.
And the Panthers making work of the Titans, up 20, and Joey Bain looking to make it a 3-score game. Oh, sorry, already a 3-score game, but make it a perfect 3-score game. High snap, good hold, good kick. 4 for 4 on the night. And if you want perfection, you want the Franklin Regional Panthers right now.
Our offense has been unstoppable so far, but now, Shaler, you can at least go into halftime knowing you're getting the ball back, but
you have to get out of this half then.
You got to score.
Yes.
You cannot go down 21 at the half. You got to find something and stop taking holding calls.
Every single possible minute if you're the Titans. You're no need to get the ball back right away and try and get 2 scores. Go down the field if you're the Titans, score, go into half, reconcile with your team, fix things up, and come into halftime into that 3rd quarter and really say to yourselves, all right, if we're down 2 scores, we're in a better place. But it comes down to this drive, and will the Titans play disciplined? If you're the Titans, your head has to be in the game. I know that's the old saying from God knows how long ago, but the Titans need it now. You cannot just be thinking about anything else other than when you're on the field, what you're going to do.
And we'll see what adjustments are made at halftime, but this game is far from over.
It'll be a short boot. It'll roll to Orga. He'll let it go out of bounds. He'll take the flag on that. Smart decision by Orga on that.
Should have had him in the game against the Browns on Monday night.
I like that. Good call there, Matt. But again, now 4 minutes remaining. Titans down 21.
But that's a very smart heads-up play by Orga, just letting it go out of bounds, get the ball at your 40.
That's huge now for the Titans.
Sorry, 35.
And again, If you're the Titans, I did say earlier, you try and use up as much clock as possible in this situation. Do you agree, Matt?
Might as well. It's definitely, you take a look at the time, 4 minutes. Your defense hasn't been able to stop them at all. So in a perfect world, yes, you take it all the way down, score with only a few seconds left. But you got to get a touchdown regardless. Even if you give them a little bit of time, it's still going to be hard for them to work their way all the way down the field.
Now a 2-man set, Sam Himrod now at the bottom of the screen. And I believe Franklin will take their first time out, and they will. And now again, for the Titans, this has to be a clean drive. And not by clean, I don't just mean no penalties. I mean you have to execute every play to perfection.
Yeah, that's been the struggle so far. It's been the Shaler's offensive line. And when you take a look, it's been not only in the run game, it's been the passing game as well. When you give Spatanka enough time, especially since they want to throw deep, you got to hold them off a little bit longer. And Shaler hasn't really looked to the short passing game at all. They've looked at, when they've been wanting to throw the ball, they've wanted to go at least 10, 20 yards down the field.
And now Jim Ryan again trying to get his offense corralled and back up and energized. And it hasn't been a bad game from the Shaler offense. The first drive you thought was the perfect start to your game. Since then, hasn't been as clean. And can Schmatenko rally the troops? He looks left, feels the pressure, looks across, wide open man, Orga at the 50, and will just go out of bounds inside the 50, and a great start to your drive for the Titans.
Might as well open it up. First time we've looked at empty set for Spatanka today. Makes a good throw. Orga had to jump up for it, but regardless, an excellent find there and another Titan first down.
And that's what you want to see from the Titans. If they're going to double cover your man, Joey DiSabato, open things up for a man like Caden Orga, who's in the top 20 right now, still in the WPIAL as well of receiving. Franklin shows blitz. They do. Doesn't feel the pressure. Schmatenka takes the hit in the backfield. A sack. Jude Gentile, the running back, gets to Schmatenka, takes his second sack on the night.
And I don't know how he held on to the ball. Did a great job of securing it. He did not see that coming.
You see so many of those blindside hits come through where the ball just pops out, and a lot of times you'll see the quarterback come out winded. Schmatenka takes it in stride. Will that affect him for the rest of the drive, though, in a 2nd and 17?
Definitely going to give you a little bit of a scare, but they've been trying to go max protect with both Londons as blockers on the edge.
And again, blitz again. It'll be a flag on the play. Waiting for the official call. I didn't see it. It'll be on the Titans. Shot yourselves in the foot again if you're the Titans. Went from a 2nd and 17 to a 3rd and 22, I believe.
Well, it'll still be second down.
Oh, 2nd and 20. Yeah, sorry. Second. It's not a loss of down. Sorry. 2nd and 22, but still shoot yourselves in the foot.
But regardless, you're going to need some big plays here to try to keep the drive alive.
And again, with how this defense of the Panthers is rolling, it's a blitz, but still zone coverage, and they still make it work. Blitz again. Schmatenka has to scramble and is sacked again. And they get to him. No one on the Titans able to stop the Panthers. A full max blitz.
And even with moving London into help purely as a pass blocker, it's not helped at all. It's a 3rd down and a country mile.
We're still calculating the yardage here. Loss of 10. 3rd and 32. And you just got to think here, if the blitz gets to Schmatenka again, you have to change things quick if you're the Titans, because Schmatenka cannot keep taking these hits. Takes the snap. Loads deep for Orga. Has him, and through the hands. Would have been a first down and more for Caden Orga. Jameer Austin was in on the coverage, just got his hand up, able to block vision for just a half a second. And I think Orga would really want that one back, obviously speaking.
And it was good coverage, but it wasn't great coverage. That was a great throw by Spatanka, able to put it right in front, and now they're just going to have to punt it away.
And another roller stays in bounds, but again, only getting inside the 40. Douglas struggling with his boots right now.
Well, there is a flag back at the 18 about where Douglas kicked it. Let's see what the call is.
Oh, and let's see. It'll be on the Panthers. Did they get to Douglas?
Well, depends. Is it a running into or a roughing? Because running would just give you another 5 yards, but roughing would give you an automatic first down plus 15 more.
I believe it'll just be running. Yes, it will. So it'll be running in a 5 yards. So Douglas gets to retry his boot. And I know I said the boots haven't been good and they've been rollers, but maybe that's the plan because Huddock is the man back there for the Panthers, and he's been obviously the man that they can't stop, alongside DePill and Gentile, of course.
Sure, he's a dangerous returner, but you got to do better than 20-yard punts. But now maybe getting nerves out of the way a little bit. They forgot to move the chains. They're going to move it up 5 yards. But
so now,
yeah, try to settle down, get another crack at it.
Snap will be from the 35. If you're going to get a roller, you got to get it over the heads of Huddock. It'll be a high snap. It'll be I think the same exact area, I believe, around the 40. Just a different hash. Did not get a Shaler bounce. And with 1:51 remaining, the Franklin Regional Panthers, they could put this into a blowout situation.
Definitely got to stop now. Good news is they don't have a ton of time, but they still have enough time.
2 timeouts as well.
So you've got to find a way to get a stop. You cannot go down by 28.
You cannot be deflated as well if you're the Titans. Obviously, the Panthers are going to be jumping for joy at the fact that they're already up 3 scores and can go up 4. But if you're the Titans, you can't just say the game's over at halftime, especially with the team you are and how you've been playing. I know injuries hurt. You know, we've seen a ton of injuries already so far in the Whitfield this year, a lot of big names, but you've got to step up to the occasion. Lemke looking right, has a man across. Huddock gets past one, stays on his feet, spins, and still gets a big gain. So a second down situation. It'll be a 2nd and 4, I believe, for the Panthers. Clock continues to run at 1:30. They're going to take up as much time as they need. Again, with timeouts.
Last thing you want to do is turn the ball over in this situation. So
still inside your own 50. You are correct.
But you got to be happy with up 3 scores here so early into the game.
They flip the 3-man set to the opposite hash. Man in motion. Lemke looking across. Has Huddock for the first. Still on his feet. Not dragged down by Signetti at first, but still gets across to the 40. And Franklin's going to take their 2nd timeout, I believe.
Frankly, there's got to be ecstatic the way they played both sides of the ball, able to get the pressure of Smetanka and their offensive end, either run or pass. They've been able to do it all. It
has been phenomenal, and I know usually I don't like saying the same names over and over again, but it's hard when Franklin Regional, they don't really need to go to anyone else. I mean, Huddock's obviously been their man on receiving, and then Gentile and DePill have been phenomenal in the run.
Yeah, when you have those 3 players like that, you're able to mix and match what you do, and they've got to contain Luddick somehow. If you can at least take away the passing game, it can allow you to focus a little bit more on the run. But regardless, they haven't been able to stop them with whatever they've been doing.
Jim Ryan has to get his defense set, has to get them into a point of, we have no more time now, especially as we head into this second half and under a minute here, to try and learn new things. We have to play the way we've been playing, especially, again, you know there's been losses. You've lost your 2 starting middle linebackers, but someone has to step up. 3-man set to the top. Lemke looking left originally, feels the pressure, has to scramble, man in the middle, and just dumps it away. And Lemke, again, still feeling the pressure, was able to almost find his man there.
That was really the first time Shaler's gotten into the backfield and made enough pressure to sort of influence the throw. He probably would have liked to have that one back, but regardless, they did enough to force him to go on the run. Whenever you're on the run, it's not as easy when you're back there standing still.
And you got to feel okay now that you say that. Again, that's the first time with 52 seconds remaining in the half that Shaler has actually really pressured Lemke. You have to feel good if you're the Panthers O-line. You are not letting anything get through. Obviously, hence something happens here in the next 52 seconds. Shaler shows blitz. They do. They get to Lemke, and he throws it away into the dirt.
That was nearly intercepted. If he was hit just a fraction later, that's probably right into the hands of Jordan Winters. And a couple of good plays here in succession for the Titans. Now it's a 3rd down and long. One more stop here, and they're going to have to punt.
Haven't seen a run yet. 48 seconds remaining. For the Panthers, you got to think, all right, 3rd and 10. We have 2 options here. They've been perfect so far on conversions, especially on 4th down conversions, especially when they're short.
Yeah, perfect on 4th down. Have not had to even punt yet.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to try and give this thing off to Jude Gentle. And they're going to take their final and 3rd timeout here. And this is a smart one if you are Lance Getsy here from the Panthers. It'll be a 3rd and 10. And again, you're not telling your guys, hey, we need this, right? You're up 3 scores. You're in no need of dire points. It'll be, again, if you go up here and go down and score in 48 seconds, you've almost put it out of reach in that opinion, because if you've been playing how you've been playing and you're going to do it for another 2 quarters, the Titans don't really have any room to work with.
Yeah, but you still have last year's game in the back of your mind saying, we've seen this story before. We've been up by big.
We have. We have seen this story before, but again, this is a different Titans team. This is a different Titans defense than last year. Carson Pierce, again, not on the field. JoJo Rispoli, not on the field. They made huge defensive plays late in the game last year. Just has not been the start for the Titans that they wanted at all. If you look at, again, how the Titans season has gone so far, you've had 2 original blowout wins against Butler and Hampton. Against Plum, it was a little closer, 28-14, and against Hempfield, 33-17. But if you're on this continuing streak, you don't want that if you're the Titans. And Lemke, I think, was looking to just maybe throw it in the dirt. I'm not sure, because he ended up throwing it into Andrew Davola. It'll be a 4th and 10 with 44.5 seconds remaining. And I believe we're going to see the first punt now from Joey Bain. But if you're the Panthers, you could maybe have something up your sleeve here. He might actually be going for a field goal, and he is going to go for a field goal. Excuse me, I thought the punt team was coming out.
A lot of confidence in your kicker to try a 54-yarder.
54-yard field goal for Joey Bain. The Titans will talk this one over and try and ice him. Dangerous position still, because if this one's short, Caden Orgett's going to line himself up in the end zone, maybe if he can get a return.
Yeah, very ambitious and interesting call. That even at the NFL level, there's a lot of risk in taking a 54-yard kick.
Because if he misses, Titans get the ball back at around the 30, I think, 6-7 yard line.
So they don't have a lot of time. They do have 2 timeouts, though.
And if you're the Panthers, you say to yourself here, all right, it's a tough 54 yards is a extremely tough kick at this level.
You almost never even think of attempting a 54-yarder, let alone when you're up by 3 scores.
But if you make it, you go up 3 points, and if you don't make it, the Titans are only at the 36-yard line, 37, excuse me, and with how your defense has been playing, you've got 45 seconds to stop the Titans. It's almost a no-brainer kind of for the Panthers if you look at it that way. So Lemke will be on the hold. Still a possibility for a trick up their sleeve. It'll be a high snap. Bain will get under it, and it will be short. Was about 5 yards short. Yeah, not a bad attempt at all, though, from Joey Bain. Would have been good if he was, I would say, 5 to 10 would have definitely, I think, come close. And now with 38.4 seconds remaining, the Panthers still lead the Titans 28-17.
John, you're taking a look at where they're spotting it on the far side, right?
I'm not going to lie. I am a bit confused. So I guess if you miss the field goal and it landed in the end zone, it becomes
I think it becomes a touchback, right?
It becomes a touchback. I'm not too sure how that becomes a touchback. I didn't realize that was a rule here.
Yeah, we need to go through the rules here, figure out. Because
I've been saying it for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
I need to check the rules.
That definitely was a rule at one point where field goals in the end zone is a touchback. Might still be the case in high school.
So even better for the Panthers off the miss now. What we thought was going to be at the 37 is now at the 20. They show blitz, low snap, hands it off to Razzo, puts his head, he lost the ball. Razzo put his head down, it's picked up, and on the return now are the Panthers, and in for the touchdown, Austin Kearns. What has happened to the Shaler Titans? The Franklin Regional Panthers running over the Titans. A missed field goal turns into 6.
Yeah, that's their missed field goal too. Razzo, he's always been susceptible to fumbling the ball. The way he carries it a little high. And as he's going down, the ball gets poked up and loose ball picked up and taken to the end zone. And this one's getting ugly.
And at this point for the Titans, you have to be happy this is out of conference.
At least there's that.
Up 34-7 over one of the best scoring offenses and best scoring defenses in the Whippeal. And the boot up good, hit the scoreboard even, 35-7 with 28 remaining. And we said in that first 4.5 minutes in this quarter, in the first quarter and in the half, we said to each other, all right, we've got a shootout. We were excited for the rest of the half. We thought things were going to be all even maybe towards the end of this half, thinking, hey, things could be at 20s, things could be at 14s. I don't think we saw where this was going at all.
Yeah, it looks like just one team showed up today, and unfortunately for Shaler, it was Franklin Regional, and that's just demoralizing there at the end. You run the ball thinking, okay, at least we don't throw an interception here, have it returned for a touchdown, and then you fumble the ball and have it picked up and returned for a touchdown anyway, so it's going to be a tough one. Might just 28 seconds left, not really going to have much time to score, so just want to get out of the half, not let another touchdown be scored on you.
And again, you have to somehow make things happen. You still have 2 quarters of play. But again, you just got to wonder how things have lined up for the Titans. We said every week that, you know, they should be correcting mistakes. They should be polishing up. And right now, things are only just getting rougher and rougher.
Definitely going to be a wake-up call for sure. And it's not the worst thing in the world. They still have time to come back, but even if they do lose this game, you're right, John. It's non-section, non-conference.
But you go into Woody Hills next week against one of the better offenses as well in Whippeal 5A, obviously led by Will Scoop Smith, one of the fastest players in the Whippeal.
But at least now after this game, you're not going to be lulled into a false sense of security. You know, all right, there's stuff we got to work on. We got to help out our team, our defense, after absorbing the losses of Pierce and Rispoli. Pierce you're likely going to have back. Rispoli unknown whether he will return this season, as we saw him in warm-ups with a sling, but they're just going to take the knee and get out of this one. Titans, work to do.
And for the Titans, they're going to have to corral the troops and rally them up. And for the Panthers, they're going to go into half happy as can be as we hit under 15 seconds. So join us back up here in the booth after halftime, after performance from the bands.
We bring the bright lights of Broadway to the field. This famous street spans the length of Manhattan and houses 41 professional theaters in a city that never sleeps. Wicked has been dancing through life in defying gravity since 2003. We feature our auxiliaries with classic ABBA hits I Have a Dream and Mamma Mia from the jukebox musical Mamma Mia. Our curtain closes with One Day More, an iconic song from 8-time Tony Award-winning musical Les Miserables, featuring soloists Owen Yarnott, Josh Oppen, Eddie Schmidt, Michael O'Leary, and Donnie Gill. Music Video Sponsor, Field Tech Michael LaBella, Dancing Sponsor Amanda Vigilati, Quick Major Sponsor Alyssa Ryan, Color Guard Sponsor Becky Butler, Big Tech, Casey Berg, and Drumline Sponsor Chris Ross. The band is under the field direction of Drum Major Sophia Hayes and Carrie York. Drum Dance Team Captains Lena Flavin and Alex Luciano. Drumline Captains Connor Smith and Liz Vogel. The band thanks you for your kind attention.
And welcome back up into the booth for second half coverage of tonight's game. Hopefully you enjoyed the band's performance. But back up here in the booth, John Irwine and Matt Prucker, and man, what a half we just saw. We thought we were gonna see a shootout, but the Panthers lead the Titans 35-7 as Joey Bain looks to get things underway here in the second half. It'll be a big boot. DiSabato just lets it go over his head, and man, Joey Bain's got a leg, man. What an impressive kick that was. And we got to go over a couple of things from that first half, Matt. I mean, what did you see in that first half that led to the Panthers leading this large over the Titans, who came in tonight as the third-ranked team in the WPIAL 5A?
It all starts with the big guys up front on both sides. Both offensive and defensive lines for Shaler have not looked good. They've either been overpowered or just not played well. And let's take a look at the stats. Smetanka 5 for 6, actually 5 for 7, 120 yards and a touchdown, and a 38 yard passing touchdown to Joe DiSabato. That's been the highlight, not a whole lot good else. They also have committed 5 penalties for 60 yards, while to Franklin Regional's 3 for 40.
And they're going to hand it off to the left side, looking for some space. And I think we'll maybe gain a yard on the play. And I believe it was Isaac McKay on the carry there. Going to switch some personnel out for the Titans, and maybe for the Titans, getting a new look at maybe some players on the field might revamp some things if you're lucky. This Panthers team has played so well. Obviously, Lemke right now having the game of his season so far. Huddick and DePill, everyone having the game of their season. Smetanka rolling right. Man open, London down the field. There'll be a flag, but wrapped up and brought down just in front of the 40-yard line. If this flag is on the Titans, that is gonna hurt. And on the initial reaction, I believe it is on the Titans. And that flag came in late, way after the ball was thrown from Smetanka. And it will be a holding on the offense. And we just talked about penalties last week, 10 for 90 yards. And on a play that got you down all the way in front of the 40-yard line, immediately wiped away on a hold. And another penalty for the Titans.
I want to take a look, as they've had a hard time containing the Franklin Regional blitz. Whenever they've brought in pressure, Smetanka's had to get rid of it early, and they've not done a good job of targeting the middle of the field. Every pass they've had has been deep and outside.
Smetanka takes the snap. Looking across into the middle for Brandon London, pushes a man over and gets in front of the 20. Brinker was in on the tackle, took a shot, but still brought down London. And good on Brinker to really take that hit in. I knew he was going to get hit, but accepting it and saying, all right, I'm going to take this hit, but you're not getting past me.
Exactly, and finally a pass inside the hashes. Franklin Regional has done a good job of forcing Smetanka out to the outside. Now in the middle, hoping to see London get more involved, because that's his territory.
And it'll be a 3rd and 9, 11 minutes, only a minute off the clock here in this third quarter. The Titans looking for something to kickstart themselves back in. And here comes the blitz. Smetanka has to roll, somehow evades, still on his feet, now scrambling for the first, and Smetanka got it. And it'll be a flag again.
I don't know how he got out of there. Wonderful job by Smetanka, able to evade all sorts. They brought the house that time.
The escape artist Keegan Smetanka made it happen, got the first. And it'll be a sideline warning on the Franklin Regional Panthers, and that's what the flag's going to be for, I think.
Yeah, their head coach was pretty sure was on the field that play.
Yeah, Lance Getze was pretty involved.
They've been doing good enough with 11. They don't need 12.
And Smetanka somehow saved the drive on a 3rd and 9, got the ball all the way to the 37 for a 1st and 10. Clock rolling now, 10:18 remaining. Franklin shows blitz. They got him to jump, I believe, though. And it will be on Franklin. So now Franklin, a penalty in their name. And the Titans get a little bit more breathing room. But now if you're the Titans, you cannot let up just because you got a break. You have to continue with your foot on the gas.
Essentially, they haven't done much of anything yet. They've done a good job on this drive of moving the chains, but you got to find the end zone here, build some momentum going into next week.
Franklin shows blitz. They bring down the house. Schmatenka has to scramble. Still on his feet and gets sacked again in the backfield. Everyone is getting their hands onto Keegan Schmatenka right now. He cannot get the time he needs. Kern's in on the sack.
You can tell by his body language, hands on hips, he's incredibly frustrated with how this game has gone. But at the same time, you got to find a way to get rid of the ball. They're having to drop guys in to sort of max protect, only leaving 3 receivers. And whenever that happens, if they cover them, you're likely to take a sack.
And that's what you said, where these passes into the middle have to start being created, because when you keep sending your receivers on these deep balls, you're not going to have the time you need. And again, they bring the house, has to dump it off over the middle, intercepted. Kern's on the take, inside, and just dragged down, tripped by Schmatenka inside the 10. Schmatenka looked for the dump. Kern's read it from a mile away and takes it inside the 10-yard line. And with 9 minutes remaining in the game, Franklin can go up and start the running clock.
And that's a byproduct of taking so many sacks. If that was in the first quarter, he definitely would have not made that mistake. But he's been getting hit so many times. And he tried to force one there that most of the time he doesn't. And that's another devastating turnover these last couple of offensive drives for Shaler. He had the fumble by Razzo that turned into 6 points directly, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown near the end of the first half. And now give them great field position, and you're stuck now at your own 10.
And again, the Shaler Titans we thought would come into this game looking like the team they have for the past couple weeks and just have not been able to make it happen. And Franklin Regional, after a devastating 44-24 loss against Gateway, have just flipped the script on their season. And Gentle still getting yards after the initial tackle. And what an impressive display of, I don't even know what you call this. You can call it athletics, you can call it dominance, you can call it whatever you want, because right now the Panthers are owning the Titans.
Yeah, everything they've done has been working, but on that play, you'd like to see some progress there as they've been able to get multiple defenders in on the tackle, as that's something they've been struggling with. Wrapping up defenders, it's usually taking multiple guys to take it down able to take down Gentile tonight.
Yep, only got a yard, so 2nd and 9 from the 9-yard line though. So it's either score here or pretty much bust as they pitch it out to Huddock, still on his feet, won't get wrapped up and in. Easy score for Huddock, and making it happen, shows the hands down, and it'll be a flag on the play for taunting after.
Yeah, not quite sure what he was trying to do here. Up now, the mercy rule is going to get into effect, but regardless, that's going to be that penalty will likely be enforced on the kickoff. But they've just been relentless all game long. Titans have only gotten 1 stop on defense this entire game, and now they're going to be looking into the playbook, trying to figure out what went wrong, review the tape, and get forward, because next week's a big one.
You're going to have to revamp everything at this point, especially going into what I consider one of the hardest 5-game stretches in the entire WPIAL, not even just the 5A. It's one of the toughest. Woodland Hills, North Hills, Penn Hills, Pine Richland, and Fox Chapel. I mean, man, when you look at that, that is a tough road in front of you. And now Bain, perfect on the night. Titans won't even try and get in there. They'll let them just put it through. And the Panthers go up 42-7 over the Titans inside of 4 minutes in the quarter. And for the Titans, it's decision time. And if you're Jim Ryan, I think you maybe just let things take its course. I'd probably say let your starters maybe come out and accept defeat. I know you don't really want to if you're Jim Ryan. Again, you still have 20 minutes of play, but especially going into your next 5 games with the injuries you have, it might be smarter to let some of your starters get a rest.
And that point will come eventually, but you got to show some pride here if you're Shaler. You cannot just roll over on the ground here.
Yep.
You got to keep pushing, got to keep fighting and clawing, and get something positive out of this game. Right now, there's not a whole lot to talk about. Spatenka's made a couple of great throws on the first drive, but that's about it.
But again, there is two sides to that story. As much as you want to have pride, at what point do you say to yourself, we got to keep our guys out of injury? Because you say that same thing. That's how Carson Pierce got injured at the end of the Hampton game on the last play, put him out for a couple of weeks. At what point do you say to yourself, all right, we've got our licks in. We just got to let things take its course. And rolling clock will start as it is a 35-point lead. And the kick will be from the 25 off of the penalty from Huddick. And now Bain, he's had phenomenal kicks. I want to see if this one gets out of the end zone. It'll actually be short. I think I might have jinxed him there. It'll roll to Orga at the 20. Looking for some speed. Still on his feet, getting to the 35-yard line.
Solid field position to start the drive for the Titans, and now after the interception, maybe want to try to get Spatenka's confidence up a bit and try to get some easy throws for him. Although you've had a problem with that all night.
Let's see the personnel for the Titans. And it looks like they are going to accept things as they are. Spatenka no longer in the game. Be Aaron Aversa in at quarterback. He hands it off to Isaac McKay, who gets to around the line of scrimmage. And Aaron Aversa, the sophomore, 5'8", 150.
He'll actually be stopped for a loss. It's just been the same sight all night long for the Titans running backs. No matter who they've had in there, it's just been Franklin Regional defenders pouring in through the gaps of the offensive line.
For the Titans, how do you look at this game? I mean, you came in as favorites from a bunch of different places, looking to go 5-0 for the first time in a long time as McKay gets the snap and the ball, still on his feet and travels up the sideline, gets pushed out of bounds, and there'll be a flag for the late hit, and Franklin Regional can't believe it.
Well, they should believe it. His foot was out of bounds, and the guy decided to hit him anyway.
And obviously upset as can be. A little surprised considering that 35, but when you're pumped up like Franklin Regional is, you still want to play a perfect game, no penalties.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to do everything right here, and this, even though it's a blowout, you want to keep going things wrong. They enter a tough stretch too, Franklin Regional, and they don't want to have Shaler, even though they pulled their starters, get some momentum at all in this game.
And if you're the seniors, especially the captains on this team like Keegan Spatenka and the rest of the seniors, D. Sabato, London, even starting even from the defense, even the injured guys, Carson Pierce, you've got to get your guys rallied heading into the next couple weeks of the season. Something has to change. Every week it looks like the Titans have just struggled with discipline. They've struggled with their defensive side. The offense has, I wouldn't say not as clicked as well, but definitely seen some struggling that we haven't seen, especially in the run game. At what point does it change?
Well, that's the thing. You saw this a little bit in Hempfield. Titans were somewhat fortunate, although they did play better than Hempfield, but they had a lot of penalties in that game. But now you take a look here, and you know what? You got to think, okay, it's one. You have to think to myself, okay, it's a one-game anomaly. This game does not define your season. We haven't even gotten into conference play yet.
It does not yet. Again, like you said, this is the final dress rehearsal, and unfortunately, the slipper did not fit how you want it to. As Aversa gets that pass off quickly, he was looking for Peyton Plans, but wasn't able to make it happen.
Even something like that we haven't seen when Spatenka was in the game. Just a short pass.
And you just wonder why it's happening now instead of eventually when you have guys like Brandon London, who last year made those look so significant and easy. And it's tough. And the Titans now letting the clock roll, 5:45 remaining, down 35. And now Aversa steps back. House is brought down, gets the ball off, but pushed down into the ground, found his man. It was Troy Signetti. Will it be a 4th down and a loss of yards for the Titans, and they'll bring out the punt team.
Yeah, even with the backups in, it's been a familiar sight. No time at all for Versa to get rid of the ball, and when he did, it was to a defender, sorry. It was to a guy who was way too far behind the line of scrimmage.
And now Douglas looking to put this thing in good field position. And a very good boot from Douglas, what they've needed all night. Huddock now on the chase. It'll be a flag for block in the back. Huddock on the return, still on his feet, cuts back up the middle. Still going downfield. Getting chased by Douglas. And unfortunately for Huddock on the touchdown, it's going to get brought back because of a block in the back.
Yeah, you got to think that's a block in the back, but regardless, that's not good coverage there on the punt. You got to do a better job than that, trying to contain him at least to one side. He did a great job. Luck did a great job, though, of going to one side, cutting back, and then using his speed to his advantage.
And Huddock has looked phenomenal, and for him, it's a shame we haven't seen his name as much as we have heard in the Whippeal so far and in the stat lines, because what a game he's had tonight, and I hope for him, he's put the Whippeal on notice, I would say, especially against the team he's about to play.
It's been a combination of things. It's not just been one side or the other that's been caused. It's been all phases. Franklin Regional has really done their best, and Shaler hasn't been up to par thus far.
And again for Shaler, this is a, like you said, dress rehearsal. I like to say totem pole, right? You try and figure out where you are in the totem pole. They looked like they were in the top tier of the Whippeal, especially in the 5A with all the hype they had started to receive. And then after this game, it's going to knock them down a lot. They'll probably drop out of the top 5 in the rankings. But maybe that's good for the Titans if you look at it that way, where all the pressure's off and you can take it a little bit easier now.
And the Titans only had 10 men on the field on that play, and they're going to call a timeout.
So they'll take their first with 4:19 remaining. And for the Franklin Regional Panthers, I mean, I think everything that we said in pregame pretty much happened. I mean, we said, obviously, Lemke needed to up his completion percentage, needed to find his guys, right? No mistakes, no interceptions. I don't believe Franklin Regional's even had a turnover tonight. DePill, obviously, we said, needed to step up big. He's already, remember, at the start of the game, had 46 attempts on 6 yards per carry. Those are going to be huge. He's had a couple of touchdowns tonight. Huddock obviously came in with 8 receptions, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His stats are going to look phenomenal after the game. And Austin Kearns, by the way, came in with 7 receptions, 71 yards. Now, his name hasn't been as prominent on offense, but defense, he has looked phenomenal, especially with that almost pick 6 that Keegan Schmateka had stopped on the trip, or just got the shoelace tackle. But man, this Franklin Regional team came to play tonight. Now Lemke hands it off to Gentle, spins around, still on his feet, still going, and will be short of the first by about a yard.
Be interesting to note, Franklin Regional still has their starters in on offense, even with the mercy rule.
And I think that might be a decent thing, because knowing that Shaler's JV and backups are in, you can say to yourself, all right, when we're in these situations from now on, we're in the late game, where are we going to put ourselves, especially in an attitude and mindset? Because I think it's smart, especially for Lance Getsy. He says to his guys, I don't need you guys over here on the sidelines gloating and, reveling in this win that you're about to get. You guys still need to go out there and perform, and especially in, when they head into their next 5 games, they still need to play perfect. This can't just disappear immediately. And Lemke's pass dropped. He was looking for McAllister Bresnahan, but just dropped out of the hands. It'll be a 2nd and 10.
And you really do have to give credit to Franklin Regional. They have put on a clinic. They have really done everything right. And they have been able to just dissect this Titan defense, and when they've been on defense, they've completely stifled the Titan offense.
And we went from going into this game thinking that this would be the 42-41 blowout, and the Panthers at 42, the Titans at 7. Not the game we expected from the Titans, and as much as you could say that the losses on defense created a problem, you can't make that excuse your cover-up for too long.
Yeah, this is by far the best Franklin Regional has played too. Just take a look at the schedule here. They're coming up with 4 conference games, And when you take a look at that, those are probably all wins for them. They're looking like if they can keep playing like this, they've really found something in this game. They can look like they'll be back in the playoffs again.
Yeah, I believe the 4 conference teams they play, Plum, Norman, Hempfield, and Penn Trafford, were all losing at halftime. I believe all down by 1 score or 2. And those teams being Plum, Norman, Hempfield, and Penn Trafford. So for them, they get to go into that next stretch of games happy as can be and confident as can be. As Gentile gets the call here, going past the 50, getting chased down and dragged down at the 35-yard line. And man, he is quick as can be.
Yeah, you saw when that gap opened up in the offensive line, he took it and just started sprinting. The Titans had to race back to take him down. A good open field tackle, something that hasn't happened a lot tonight for the Titans.
And that's where things have to change. Carson Pierce, like you said, out probably until North Hills. May not try and push him into next week unless he is absolutely fully cleared. Jojo Rispoli have yet to know what his condition is for the rest of the season. And even with that, those 2 guys, the defense still has to just step up and play better in general.
Yeah, I don't know. Even with them in, I mean, they bring so much more than just their talent, their ability. They bring their leadership, their experience, and something that with this young group that having to replace them just simply doesn't have.
And Gentle will get the call again, tripped up, but still gets a lot of yards after the original tackle. Gain around 6 on the play.
And that's been a common theme all night, yards after contact. We don't have the advanced analytics up here, but he's got to be at least at 40.
Absolutely, and again, those 2 came into the game, and they've made a name for themselves tonight. They've put the whole Whippeal on notice, and again, Franklin Regional, again, took an unfortunate loss to Gateway as the clock gets under a minute. But they are back in action and look like the Franklin Regional of last year, hopefully, getting back into the win column. And a great run there and a first down from Franklin Regional. Brent Hickey in on the take there, trucked the man over and continued it. And under 30 seconds in the quarter, obviously rolling clock. Franklin Regional will let the time run out. And as we head into the 4th quarter of play here at Franklin Regional Stadium, with the Panthers lead 42-7 over the Titans. Join us here for 4th quarter coverage of tonight's game.
We are the Shaler Titans 2023 boys soccer team, and you're watching SATV. Go Titans!
And welcome back for 4th quarter coverage of tonight's game. Obviously, rolling clock. Don't need to snap the ball here as the Panthers are inside the 20. It'll be a flip off to Brinker. Still on his feet, bounces out. But with the initial push there, he's actually going to lose 2 on the play. And excuse me, that was Jonah Cable in on the take. He actually lost a couple yards on the play. So it'll be a 2nd and 14 for the Panthers, 11:20 remaining.
Yeah, you saw the touch pass there, hoping to get outside, but it was a good job by the Titans defense of containing him and forcing him back for a 4-yard loss.
And a tough game for the Titans. This one's going to hurt going into the weekend. And knowing next week is your homecoming day against Woodland Hills, something's got to click. Something's got to change. And what will it be for the Titans? For the Panthers, next week is going to be business as usual for them. We said the same thing for the Titans, saying, all right, this is your game, right? Suit up, go out there, do what you've been doing, and go into the win column. Franklin Regional found the script and flipped it on the Titans.
At the very end here, you just don't want to lose your cool. McKay took someone down behind the play, and that's not what you want to see.
And again, that starts with the discipline that we've been talking about all night. It starts with the leaders. Even though you're down, you still have to go out there, and like you said, you have to have pride out there. You have to have discipline because it's going to show, and other teams are going to see that and pounce on it. And Hickey again on the take, getting a lot of good yards. He'll get the first, got just to the line, excuse me. And it'll be a 1st and 5 from the 5-yard line. Franklin Regional to put another score up on the board. What a game for the Panthers. I mean, they have looked phenomenal. Their best game of the season so far, in my opinion, knocking off the Shaler Titans. Again, non-conference. But to them, I don't think that matters. This has been a revenge game after the heartbreaking loss. They said, listen, we made it close last time and we let it slip away. We're going to blow you out of the water this time, as they go in for another score as Nick Perdue, the 5'9", 155 senior, takes it in and puts another 6 on the board for the Panthers. And again, the Panthers have looked on point. They've looked phenomenal tonight, and they've made things happen that no other team, I think, expected for them tonight. And again, Joey Bain looking to go perfect on the night other than a missed field goal. And again, you can't even fault him for the field goal. I mean, it was a 54-yard attempt that came up 5 yards short.
And now you get the ball, the touchback after you kick it into the end zone. Maybe that'll, with Douglas's leg, and Povich got a good leg too if he's back healthy. Maybe they might try, You never know, John.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but it also comes down to your defense too, because with how Franklin Regional's defense had been, why not? Go for it, shoot for it. So let's see now. I mean, again, Ryan's going to have to make something happen next week.
I have faith in this team. The senior leadership group, it hasn't been all hunky-dory for them. They've lost games in the past. They know how this feeling feels, and they know they will do everything in their power so that this doesn't happen again.
Absolutely. And again, they came in tonight. Keegan Schmatanka was 70 for 94, 74 completion rate, 1,007 yards, 8 touchdowns and an interception. And last week, of course, 19 for 26, 285 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. We thought we were going to see the same thing happen. And you can't fault Schmatanka. Unfortunately, just has not gotten time in the pocket. He probably had around maybe 2 seconds before he had to scramble before every play, especially starting late in that second quarter.
And you have to pick one thing that you're probably most concerned about is that offensive line, because they rely so much on giving Schmatanka time to throw the ball down deep. You have a great receiving core, but it doesn't matter if he doesn't have time to throw the ball.
Yep. They're going to let the kick go into the end zone, take the touchback. 9:28 remaining with the Panthers up 41. And while this is an ugly loss for the Titans, they're going to have to take it in stride.
Yeah, you just got to take your lumps here. You didn't play well today. It'd be one thing if this is your best and you get smacked like this, but you got to look at the few positives you do and learn from your mistakes. And that's what good teams do, is they learn from these games. They don't let them demoralize them.
But that's something that we thought we were going to see last week, especially, again, when we said, with penalties at crucial times. We saw 3 penalties tonight, 2 holdings that happened at crucial Keegan Schmatanka first downs on his legs. And the ball popped out. It was a fumble. Did the Panthers hop on it? Official signal. And the Panthers have the ball off the fumble. And the Panthers still making things go their way. 1 play on offense for the Titans and a fumble instantly.
Yeah, Signetti got thrown there, and you could tell as soon as he did, he lost control of the ball, and unfortunately for him, it's recovered by Franklin Regional. Yet another Titan turnover, and it's not been good at all fronts, and you're not even winning the turnover battle.
And again, tonight for the Titans, not a good look. So again, tonight for the Titans, they're going to have to step things up going into next week against Woodland Hills. What will happen, I don't know. And stopped at about the line of scrimmage. Clock will continue to roll, 8:20 remaining.
Good stop on there on first down, able to keep him for no gain, and now it sets up, you're now 2nd down and 10. Hopefully get another stop, and you've rarely been able to stop this Franklin Regional offense. Even though you're down by a lot, you can take a look at these backups, and they can have some pride here if they can get a stop.
And again, still the disciplineness from the Panthers. Every player still looking at Lance Getzy, excuse me, still looking for the play call. They have just been so disciplined. It'll be a low snap, a pitch off to Purdue, still on his feet, tripped up, believe lost 2 yards, maybe 3, depending on the spot.
That was a good job there by the Titans, able to contain and force them back, and they won a few times. They were able to keep the running back in front of them, and whenever you're able to do that, make them go laterally, you're able to swarm, and that's the part they've been missing all night. But 3rd down and long, get a stop here. I mean, they certainly like their kicker. They gave him a chance from 54. They'd probably let him go from, looks like 29.
And like what you said missing all night. And what a fake there from the Panthers, still on his feet, pushed down. A phenomenal fake, cut me off. I had to stop for a second. Lorenzo Azzolina, the freshman, he got me on the fake.
Always good when you fake out the play-by-play commentary, but now it's 4th down, and let's see what they do here.
It'll be a 4th and 9. And again, like what you said, there is parts missing for the Titans. But what can get fixed? There's obviously a hole in that middle linebacker position. Defensive and coverage also did not look clean tonight either. Signetti and Tortorella had trouble tonight, especially covering Huddick.
And that's when you see the problem of compounding mistakes and compounding errors. And it's 4th down and 9.
They hand it off to Purdue, bounces out outside, still on his feet and dragged down. Depending on spot, he'll be short 2 yards. It'll be a turnover on downs. Still a good take from Purdue.
Yeah, good handoff, but good job by the Titans. They could have easily just let them score there, but they didn't. They stood up, they held their ground, and now they're going to get the ball back and make that score look a little better.
And again, it's good to see from your young guys, especially considering what they just watched their leaders and their seniors and juniors and the guys they've been looking up to the whole season and the season before, if they're sophomores, just go through. And then again, Aaron Aversa pitches it out. A cutback inside by Luke Glazer. He'll gain a yard on the play. And under 5:20 remaining in the game. We've been around a couple of times here in this area as of recent. Obviously 33-17 last week against Hempfield. And we thought things would maybe just get a little better. You'd see less mistakes. You'd start to see a lot more cleaner play. But it just didn't happen tonight for the Titans.
Yeah, we've kind of been saying the same things a little bit here, but it's all been true.
And a throw off, an interception for the Panthers on the return now, bouncing outside, still on his feet, and in for the touchdown off the interception. Great return there, pick 6 call for Elijah Bennett. Early house call for him as he gets in the game on the pick 6 and puts the Panthers up 54-7.
Yeah, Bennett just read Aversa's eyes there, able to jump in front of the receiver. And when you can do that, you've got all the momentum running that way, and you're able just to keep running, and we got a house call there. Good for him. But unfortunately for Shaler, that's yet another defensive touchdown you've allowed.
Absolutely, and again, scores from around the Whitfield right now. Peters Township, USC. Peters up 24-0 over USC. Their defense doing a ton of work. As we saw, Woody Hills was up over North Hills as that kick is up and through, putting the Panthers up 55-7 over the Titans.
I think it should be 56, but whatever, they missed one. But anyway, you take a look for this from the Titans, it's just, you got to take a look at the positives. He did get a great stop there, and then you throw the pick 6.
Yeah, again, the young guys on the Titans had looked so clean, at least to a degree, right? Obviously getting thrown in a blowout situation, there's not much you can ask for them. It's a tough ask in that situation. Woodland Hills up 23-13 over Woodland, so you see that from both sides of each section here, obviously. Norman, obviously a section opponent for the Panthers, so good news for the Franklin Regional guys that they can hear that their section rival just lost. But for the Titans, that's going to be tough to hear, knowing that you play Woodland Hills next week at home Saturday afternoon for homecoming.
And you always knew that was going to be a tough game. Woodland Hills is one of the more legendary programs in the area, and that's going to be on homecoming too. You know, Smetanka and the boys are going to be like, it's our homecoming, guys, our senior year, and we still got a great team here. You can't take a look at this loss and be completely devastated. You got to think, wow, we did not play our best today. But you can't be like, wow, we're not going to do anything else this season, because this team's still got a lot left in the tank.
Absolutely, and again, another score coming in from the section of the Shaler Titans. North Hills losing to Penn Hills at North Hills, 34-3. As that kick's going to bounce on the return now from the Titans. He'll get dragged down to the 14-yard line. Braylon Rennell, the freshman, thought it was going to roll, took a Franklin Regional bounce back to him. They'll be at the 15, but again, Penn Hills, after that loss to Moon last week, 14-13, after a blocked field goal, and then when they had inside 2 minutes to go down the field, a fumbled snap under the legs of Duggar. Just an unfortunate loss last week for Penn Hills, but this week still showing that they're a team to beat in 5A.
And when you take a look at Shaler, this is also a loss that you think of saying, oh, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't. If you're going to lose, we should have kept it close. But you definitely see that this team can do something like that. You don't look at this team and just the way they played the first 4 weeks and just think, wow, these guys can definitely come back. They can definitely take a look at that. And Penn Hills, after that loss, they made sure that North Hills was going to come nowhere close. Beating a conference rival like that, that's a statement win for them.
That's going to be a tough loss for North Hills, who's played a lot of close games this season, obviously playing a close loss to Woodland Hills. They've kept themselves in a couple of games earlier this year. That's going to be tough now as they also head into a bunch of in-section games.
Yeah, and they made the playoffs last year too, and they did so. It was a knockoff Woodland Hills last year. They didn't this year, and that puts them in a really tough predicament.
And now 3:10 remaining in the game. It'll be a high snap. It'll go to Rennell. No, it'll be a fake. On his feet now with pace. Still going up the sideline. Braden Witkowski. Witkowski came from out of nowhere on the misdirection and puts the Titans at the 42-yard line.
That is their longest run of the night, and unfortunately for them, it's come with 2 minutes 30 and counting left in this fourth quarter.
And again, another score coming in from the Whippeal at halftime right now because they started at 7:30. Right now, Central leads North Allegheny 29-15, and obviously that's the game that everyone in Pittsburgh's been talking about if you're in the scene of high school football, right? I mean, that was the one that had all the Twitter beef, right? You had the Western PA Vikings tweet from NA, and right now, Central really showing who's top dog in 6A and in the Whippeal. And then on the take there for the Titans, Luke Glazer again, the freshman. He'll gain 8, I believe, and under 2 minutes we go here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was another nice carry. Unfortunately for him, he got slammed on his back at the end of that. Hope he's feeling all right after that.
Yeah, and again, that's not what you really want to see, especially with the depth that you have. You don't want to be taking any unnecessary, whether it's an injury or fatigue. Again, like we said, fatigue is going to set in for a lot of teams here coming into this next week. A lot of teams have played a lot of hard out-of-section games so far this season. And it'll be a handoff to Rennell, jumping back inside and cutting through. Gets the first down and more. And again, just a quick recap of what we saw in that second half, especially in the start of the third quarter. I think it was just, we thought things were going to change. We thought we were going to see a different Titans side, but nothing really changed on either side of the ball.
Well, you go into halftime down that big. It only takes one touchdown from Franklin Regional to push it in the mercy roll, and then you can't stop the clock. So this half's gone by quick, but even it's a nice drive for the Titans here for their backups in.
Now a man in motion, Glazer. They hand it off to him. He bounces out right, gets back to the line and shoved back. If he lost a yard, I think they're still going to mark him in for the line.
Yeah, they ran that play a couple plays ago, going to the left side. They tried to go to the right side, but I think everyone on the Franklin Regional defense knew that was coming.
And as both teams will get to the 50-yard line, as the clock runs under 20 seconds. The Shaler Titans will take their first loss of the season on the year to 4-1 as the Franklin Regional Panthers head back into the win column. 3-2 on the year, a bounce back statement victory for them after their loss to Gateway 44-24 as they beat the Shaler area Titans in Franklin Regional 55-7. And now we'll do the post game up here. Matt, let's go over the game and things that we saw, key things, and we'll talk about next week for both of these teams. So we'll start first with what you saw from Shaler this game that really either surprised you or things you didn't or did expect that led to them losing this heavily.
I mentioned earlier that it's both lines of scrimmage. The offensive line and defensive line for Shaler were just completely outmatched, or at least they looked like it. It's just the running defense we knew they had to step up. They did not. They allow the combination of Gentile and Bain and DuPill just to run over them the entire game. And on the offensive end, they had that great first drive. Spatanka made a couple of great passes to London and then the big touchdown pass to Joe DiSabato. But at the end of the day, that was by far their best drive. That was the only drive they got points on the board. But the rest of the rest of the game was just Spatanka running for his life over and over again. I think he took somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 sacks, and that's as many as they've had combined in those other four games. And that's going to have to change going up against a talented Woodland Hills team next week.
And not something you wanted to see if you're the Shaler Titans. You did not want to see Keegan Spatanka have to go back into the form of last season, in the form of running around and trying to scramble for his life. But Franklin Regional did just that. They were phenomenal tonight. Everyone in the mix, right? Ronnie Shaw, Andrew Davola on the line, Hunter Reinhardt. I mean, everybody crashed the line tonight, and just, you got to feel for Keegan Spatanka a little bit, right? You're the number one passer in the WPIAL. Things are probably going to change a little bit. You'll bump down a little bit, but it's hard when you go from barely getting sacked at all this season to 5 or 6 in a game.
One of those games where you see how important the offensive line is, and when you take a look at this game, that's what it's going to end up looking like. You take a look at Spatanka, and he barely threw the ball. He only had 10 or 11 total attempts on the game. That cannot happen. He's your best player, and he has been spectacular all year. I know he's not going to be discouraged. The rest of his team cannot be discouraged from this loss either.
And as the Titans head into their next game at Woodland Hills, what things do you want to see change? Or excuse me, home against Woodland Hills.
It's got to be the offensive line. You take a look at the defense and you say, okay, we know that loss of Rispoli and the losses of Pierce are going to hurt. It does. There's no replacing them. However, this offensive line group has been the same. And going up against Woodland Hills, you've got to take a look, okay, what are blocking schemes looking like? What's worked, what hasn't worked? Going up against a very talented Franklin Regional team today, and you didn't play your best. So you got to take your lumps, and you've got to think, we've got some work to do.
Absolutely, and work to do they have to do as they are home for homecoming next week. So join us in Shaler area next week as the Shaler area Titans host the Woodland Hills Wolverines. That's all for us here at Franklin Regional. John Irwine and Matt Brucker signing off here in Murraysville, Pennsylvania. Have a good night, Shaler area.